Number 10, I was asked twice this week by clients at what point they can stop the divorce. At what point, and this really depends on where you're at in the divorce process. So this was yesterday and today. Separate clients had asked, at what point is it too late to stop the divorce process? So there's two timelines that I want to give you here. If you're in the middle of your divorce case, even if you've signed your judgment, and let's say we mailed it in to the court in whatever county, it doesn't matter, because most courts have a 3 to 4 month processing timeline. Say today, today's the end of September-ish, September 27th, excuse me, we turn in your settlement package, your judgment package, and it sits in line to be reviewed. 2 to 3 to 4 months in some cases. If it hasn't been approved by the judge, all we have to do is file a request for dismissal. If the response has not been filed, that only needs to be signed by the petitioner. If the response has been filed, then both parties need to sign the request for dismissal. If the dismissal form gets filed before the judgment is reviewed and approved, that the case will be dismissed. And when they get to review the judgment, they'll say, oh, the case has been dismissed, and they'll return it. If you're just in the middle of your divorce case and we haven't even prepared your judgment, or maybe we did and you change your mind, it happens. Again, you just need a dismissal. The problem becomes if the judgment has already been signed by the judge, you can no longer just sign a request for dismissal because your divorce has already been ordered, even if the 6 months haven't passed. So let me give you this scenario. In LA County, everything is going very fast. We're getting all of our divorce cases done in 5 weeks, procedurally approved by the judge. 6 months hasn't passed, but the judge has signed off saying, yes, we approve your divorce. Your divorce is finalized in 5 months from now. Once that's been entered, even though the 6 months haven't passed, you now have to file a request for order to have the judgment set aside. It's not an easy task. It's not just a matter of filing a request for dismissal. We've tried it. I've tried to sneak them in a couple of times, even with LA County, and they say, sorry, file a motion with the court to speak to the judge about setting the judgment aside because the judge has already signed off on the divorce case and it's final. So if that happens, you have to file this request for order, get into court. The problem with that is it can take 2.5 months to get into most courthouses in LA County before you have a hearing. So if you're really close up against that 6-month mark, most likely that divorce date is going to hit before you even get into court. You can go in on an emergency basis. It's called an ex parte. Go in and say, hey, we want this set aside. They may not see it as an emergency, and they may say, come back in 2 months. But then by that point, your divorce is already finalized. We've had that happen because people call me sometimes and say, it doesn't happen too often, but they'll call me and say, hey, Tim, it's 4 days before our divorce. We changed our mind. We don't want it to go through. And I'll have to tell them, you can walk into court and try and get the judge to set aside. And on the one time people did walk in, the judge said, you know what? You waited this long. Yes, you're within that 6-month window. I don't have time to process this set aside. So just, the divorce is going to happen in 4 days. You'll be officially divorced, go out and get remarried. So I guess the takeaway from that is be very, very sure that you want the divorce to go through and give a lot of ramp up time prior. If you're on the bubble of thinking you don't want to be divorced, the best thing to do is just don't submit your judgment to court for review. Just let us hang on to it. That just happened. We had people who we did the whole settlement agreement judgment. They signed it, notarized it. And I was just the day before I was about to submit it to court for review. And this was LA County. So it would have been approved in a couple of days. They said, hey, Tim, we're considering not going through divorce. What should we do? I said, what we do is I just won't submit your judgment and we'll just hold off. Why don't we just let it wait 4, 5, 6, 10 months, a year, whatever. And then let me know if you want to dismiss it at that time. If you do, great. If you want it to go through, we just submit the judgment at that time.